This is a big moment in the match if you're a Chelsea fan, because you see Xavi Simons, a player that, the club was after all summer long, and Spurs scooped him out from underneath us. Well, if he's going to take touches like that in the midfield, you guys can keep him. Some things in this world are inevitable. Sun rises every morning, tides go in and out, and Chelsea Football Club beat Tottenham Hotspur. That's the way it goes. 3-point lane, baby. And Chelsea did it again. They went to Spurs, won 1-0, and even though that was a tight scoreline, the game was not close. Chelsea were far better than Tottenham Hotspur, probably putting in their best performance of the season. Spurs, on the other hand, were bad. I mean, these attacking numbers are frightening. I mean, look at that expected goals. And Thomas Frank definitely admitted this is the most toothless performance he's ever seen from a team he's managed. So, yeah, Chelsea were way, way better. So how did they do it? Well, we'll take a look at both teams' setups and how Chelsea really just executed it better and had more plans and options to keep the ball. Chelsea also had a better plan off the ball. Their press and counter press was very good and forced Spurs into an enormous amount of turnovers. And there's one more key that Enzo Maresca deserves credit for, giving a player who has really struggled at times at Chelsea a very important role that had a huge impact in this game. Welcome to Campfire Football. I'm Sebastian North. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy match breakdowns like these and just stories from the world of football. And like the video if you actually enjoy it, because, really does help with the channel. So without further ado, let's get into the match. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the setups from both teams and what they were trying to do in this game. So you can see Chelsea with Fofana and Chalobah as the back two, Reece James and Caicedo in the holding midfield area. But Gusto, not playing as a right back, going into midfield. Now, Cucurella would drop in to be able to receive the ball, and a lot of the time look up to try and connect a pass. But because Spurs were pressing high and going man-to-man, Chelsea rarely had time when they received the ball in these situations. You see another example of that right here. It goes to Sanchez, and Spurs start to press high. Now, the ball gets out to Cucurella, and he does the same thing he did in the last clip. Turns outside, plays it up the line to Fernandes, and Fernandes under a lot of pressure here. And he's able to wriggle out of it and get the ball forward to João Pedro. Chelsea were not able to do this often, but they were bailed out a lot by the fact that Spurs would commit fouls in these areas. But Chelsea had another option if Spurs were going to cut everything off for them. You go back to your goalkeeper, he does have a tool. He can hit the ball very, very far without a whole lot of space. And here Sanchez just launches one way out to half field, out to Pedro Neto, and Malo Gusto joins. The ball's knocked down to him, and Chelsea have just completely broken the Spurs press. So Sanchez being able to go long helped Chelsea a lot. But why were Chelsea able to get up into Spurs' half? It was because their counter press and their press forced Spurs into an absurd amount of turnovers. And Chelsea's press was good, and they had a very clear objective. When Vicario would get the ball, put him under pressure. This happened all game long. And if you can make him go short, you can squeeze the area. So here he goes to Jed Spence. Pedro Neto cuts the ball out to Bentancur, which allows the other Chelsea players to join in. Now, Spence doesn't have any options, so he just goes up the line to Colomwani, and the ball gets headed to play. Colomwani had a rough day. Was not able to hold the ball up at all. Here, Danso under pressure from João Pedro. He plays it forward looking for Kudus. Papsar's not ready. Caicedo is. He wins the ball. Now, the touch gets away from him, and it goes to Palhinha, who gives it to Xavi Simons. And look at this. This is a big moment in the match if you're a Chelsea fan, because you see Xavi Simons, a player that, the club was after all summer long, and Spurs scooped him out from underneath us. Well, if he's going to take touches like that in the midfield, you guys can keep him. Dodged bullet there. James plays the ball to Fernandes. He immediately sneaks it through to Garnacho, and Chelsea are in. Once again here, João Pedro putting pressure on Vicario, making him release it. He clips a high ball into the midfield. Fofana is there first and wins the header. Spurs do win the second ball here, but the third one's really important. And Kudus, instead of going up and winning the header, he tries to sort of body Cucurella. Cucurella is crazy enough to get up, win the header, and as the ball bounces down into the middle, Reece James is the one to get it. He turns and has an out ball to Gusto. Papsar playing a ball forward to Palhinha. There is an option for a 1-2 here. If Palhinha is making the run, Kudus just needs to slip it in behind right there. But he decides he wants to be clever and turn. Cucurella reads it, gets the tackle in, and now the ball's loose. But Xavi Simons is there first, gets it to Bentancur, and Spurs, they're still under a lot of pressure. Neto going, Chelsea pressing up, But look at Caicedo. As soon as he realizes Pape Sarr's getting this ball and has no idea what's behind him, he just runs in and wins the tackle. And Spurs were conceding chances from this. Here you got Pape Sarr playing it out to Porro, and Garnacho just blocks the ball up the line to Kudus, and it hits him and sets up Joao Pedro for an unbelievable opportunity. Give Vicario some credit here. He cuts a lot of the goal off here, and it's the reason he makes the save. But man, Spurs were just shooting themselves in the foot. Now this kept going into the second half, but I also really want to highlight this pressing moment from Chelsea. So Danso plays the ball back to Vicario, and Enzo Fernandez is the highest Chelsea player here. He could normally just hold, wait, let the rest of the team get set, and let Joao Pedro go. But he decides, I gotta go. That's the directive. We have to put this goalkeeper under pressure. And you do, so now everybody knows when the ball is going to get released. Bentancur is checking in, Reece James follows him, and this is absolutely immaculate defending right here. No turn, no clearance, no foul. Just send me to the corner, force him to go all the way back, and then double it. Now Neto's getting involved, and Chelsea can win the ball. This counter press was relentless. Here you got Neto putting a ball into the box, it gets headed away. Kudus, who's going to have nightmares of Cucurella just popping over his shoulder all day. Look at that. Wins that ball. They just could not get out. And that really is what led to the goal. So Chelsea get the 1-0 lead through Joao Pedro. Garnacho free on the far side. The ball goes out to him. Now, he dribbles in and gets completely crowded out right here. Spurs win the ball back. Pape Sarr gives it to Xavi Simons. They're now creating a little more space. Jed Spence can pick his head up, gets away from Pedro Neto. But right here, this touch from Spence is such a problem. He just misses the ball. And that's when Caicedo goes, I smell blood in the water. I'm coming in to clean you out. Makes the first tackle, gets to Pedro Neto, and Chelsea actually just give it away right here. Because actually Pedro Neto should give this ball right to Joao Pedro where he's standing. That's the obvious ball. Instead, he tries to be clever and reverse it. Joao Pedro wasn't going there, so, Chelsea lose it. But Caicedo, he just keeps on running. He doesn't care. The ball comes to Xavi Simons, puts him under pressure. His touch back to Van de Ven invites Caicedo to go and tackle it. Van de Ven tries to sidestep the best tackler in the league, loses the ball. Caicedo does expertly well to stretch out and get it to Joao Pedro, and he smashes it into the top corner. Chelsea go up 1-0. And Maresca rightfully stoked. In contrast, take a look at Thomas Frank. Bam, smashes the bottle. Now, as I said, there is a player who has been much maligned at Chelsea. Okay, it's Robert Sanchez. He had a huge impact. Why? There was something different we saw from him in this match. He was collecting everything that went into his box. Here you got a free kick. He just jumps up, grabs it. Then you got to take a look at what Chelsea did when Spurs had a long throw. This is once again a tactical decision to leave 3 players high. Spurs are not just going to leave these 3 players free, because if Chelsea win the ball back, they have a breakaway. So now Spurs have to adjust. Well, they can't push these guys to the edge of the box. They have to drop them back. And that means there's only 5 Spurs players anywhere near the goal. That means that Robert Sanchez has a lot more space, and he can just come and use his height. And not only that, he can launch counterattacks. So look, he quickly gets this ball out of his hands, throws it to Pedro Neto, headed to Enzo Fernandez, and Chelsea get out and basically have a 4-on-3 in this situation. That is a very good adjustment from Enzo Maresca, and it gave Sanchez the ability to completely dominate. Also, look at his position right here. If you launch this ball into the box anywhere near him, he's going to grab it. And then because Spurs have so many players high, Chelsea can immediately counterattack. Doesn't really matter how. Instead of throwing it out to Garnacho, he punts the ball long to try and find Pedro Neto. It's almost right on a dime. Vicario comes and cleans it up. Then we have this situation. The amount of corner kicks in the second half that Kudus took and that went into the box and Sanchez dealt with it was huge. This one he punches away. But this one, he grabs, immediately runs out, and Chelsea immediately on the counterattack. The ball gets into Garnacho, and he gets fouled, and a yellow card awarded to Xavi Simons. Here, a set piece. Look at Chelsea's super, super high line. Sanchez also has a lot of room and time to make his decision here. So if this ball gets launched into the box, there's only one winner. He's always going to grab it. But Chelsea were absolutely ready for it. And every single time, it just turned into a counterattack where they just played 1 or 2 passes forward and they were in Spurs' half. So that's the breakdown. Chelsea completely deserved to win this game. There's no denying it. And actually, it was quite stark to see the difference between the 2 teams. When you look at the stats, you think, wait, Spurs were at home in this match? But as I said, that's the way it's always been. Chelsea go and win at 3-Point Lane. Even though it's not called White Hart Lane anymore, it's still the same result. So thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed the breakdown. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it. Like the video, especially if you're still watching. At this point, if you're still watching, please like the video. Seriously.